In my last video, I went over how to find the multiplicative inverse of a non-singular matrix. I mentioned that a non-singular matrix is one where the determinant of that matrix is not equal to 0. Well, every square matrix has a number associated with it. It's called the determinant. In this video, I'm going to show you how to find the determinant using the TI-89 graphing calculator. I do have quite a few videos using the TI-83. Also have other videos where I show you how to do it manually. You can look at those if you like. I do remind you that I have 2 channels. This video will be uploaded on the Tony Pereira channel. My other channel, DrTMath&MoreOnline, also has a lot of tutorials, so you can check that out. I'll go ahead and put a link on this video in case you want to look at some of the tutorials on that channel. Okay, so let's look at the where you can find the determinant here. Find the value of each determinant. So I have a calculator here. I turn it on. And again, keep in mind that you can only evaluate the determinant of square matrices. So every determinant will have an n by n dimension. So the number of rows and columns will be the same. So here, the first one's a 2 by 2. So the procedure then is to access the matrix menu. So go second, and then hit number 5. I'm accessing the math menu there in yellow. And then here I go down to matrix, and then hit the right arrow here to the right. And then the second one is determinant. You can hit 2, or you can just bring it down, come down with the arrow here, either way, hit enter. And then you enter the determinant, or the components of this determinant. So it's similar to the notation for matrices in this format. So we have to use the bracket. So we hit second, and then the comma is the left bracket there, and then enter the components, the first row, -3, comma, okay, just like with the matrix, and then 4, and then once you enter a row, it has to be followed by a semicolon. So hit second key, and then the semicolon symbol is right there, right to the left corner, upper left corner of 9 here, this value here. So hit the 9 key, and then enter the next row, 2, comma, -5, and then close the bracket, the right bracket, so second, and then the division sign to the left there. You see upper left, you see the bracket, the right bracket, so hit that. And then here we need parentheses, otherwise it'll give you an error. So close with the parentheses, and then hit enter. And then it tells you the value of this is 7. The value of the determinant is 7. Okay. So the determinant is a number. It's not a matrix. When you add or subtract or multiply matrices, you get a matrix. If a matrix has a multiplicative inverse, the answer is going to be a matrix. Here, the determinant of a matrix is a number. In this case, it's 7. 2 by 2s are fairly easy to evaluate. You just cross multiply here. -3 times -5 is 15, and 2 times 4 is 8. You subtract those 2 values. 15 minus the 8 is 7. 3 by 3s and higher, if you do it manually, you'll have to use cofactors and minors, and I have some videos on that also. Here we're focusing on the calculator. Okay, the next one's a 3 by 3, but it's the same procedure, just a little bit more work to do. So hit second, 5, down to matrix, to the right, number 2 is determinant, and then we enter again. Same procedure, second, bracket, and enter each row, followed by a semicolon. Okay, once you enter the first row, then follow that with a semicolon, so second 9. Okay, second row. Semicolon. Next row, 11, comma, and 9, followed by comma, 20, and then the right bracket, parentheses, enter. And then of course in this one you can see I made a mistake. I entered a 20 instead of a 44. So just hit this up. That's going to happen. So always double check your work. Go up. Clear this. Come back and with this back arrow I can just clear what I did there into the 44. And then second bracket, parentheses, and then enter, and I get 0. So it's very easy to make a mistake. So double check your entries, and you can see them there clearly. -2, 5, -8, 5, 7, 20, 11, 9, and 44, and this answer comes out to 0. Now I do want to point out to you that there are some properties of determinants that can make it easier in some cases depending on what you're allowed to do on your assignments. Anytime you have a determinant that has 2 identical rows, the value is going to be 0. If you have 2 identical columns, the value of the determinant is going to be 0. If you have a row or a column with all zeros, the answer will be 0. If you have 2 rows that are multiples of each other, or 2 columns that are multiples of each other, the answer will be 0. So in this particular case, notice the first column, -2, 5, and 11, and the third column, -8, 20, and 44. Those are multiples of each other. If you multiply the first column by 4, you get the third column. Or if you divide the third column by 4, you get the first column. So if you're allowed to use those properties to justify your answer, you can just say the answer to this one is 0 because column 1 and column 3 are identical. So keep in mind there are properties. Whether your instructor goes over those or not depends on him, okay? But that concludes this particular video. Okay, I'll continue with another video dealing with the TI-89 later on. So again, if these are helping you, please subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you in the next video.